My family's farm has sat at the end of Maple Hollow Road for nearly a century. My great-grandparents carved it out of the woods, and every generation since has worked the same fields. The only road in or out runs right through what used to be pasture, until a slick developer bought the pasture and built a fancy gated community. And with it came an HOA. At first, it wasn't so bad. The HOA left us alone because we weren't part of it. We're grandfathered in, pun intended, since we were here long before their CC and RS and parking fines. But as more city folks moved in, they started complaining about our tractors, the smell of manure, Grandpa's habit of driving his old pickup too slow down their road. Then last winter, the HOA president, a real piece of work named Trudy, decided enough was enough. She called us eyesores and claimed our farm traffic was damaging their private road. Never mind the fact that we owned the road. The county record says Maple Hollow Road runs all the way to our property line. So when Grandpa and I came back from hauling hay one morning, we found a brand new metal fence stretching right across our driveway. Padlocked tight, big sign, private road, HOA members only. I nearly burst a blood vessel. Grandpa just squinted at it, muttered, "Huh," and walked back to the barn. Trudy must have thought we'd just give up. She even bragged on the HOA Facebook page about how she was protecting the neighborhood from unwanted farm equipment. What she didn't know is that my grandpa is the most stubborn man alive, and that he never throws anything away. About an hour later, I heard the old barn doors creak open. Out rolled Grandpa on the ancient Caterpillar D8 bulldozer he'd restored piece by piece over the last 10 years. That thing could flatten a house, and apparently it was about to flatten a fence. I ran after him yelling, "Grandpa, you can't just..." But he just waved me off, adjusted his cap, and nudged the throttle forward. Took him about 5 minutes to reach the fence. Trudy and a few HOA board members came running out of their fancy houses, screaming for him to stop. Grandpa didn't even look at them. He lined up the dozer, tapped the fence with the blade, and gave it a gentle shove. Gentle for a D8, anyway. The posts popped out of the frozen ground like twigs. The padlock snapped. The entire fence toppled over in one satisfying crash. Grandpa rumbled right over the wreckage, gave Trudy a little salute, and rolled on up to the barn like it was just another chore crossed off the list. Trudy called the sheriff, who came out and looked over the property lines. Turns out she hadn't checked the plat map. The fence was smack dab in the middle of our legally deeded access road. The deputy told her if she put it back up, she'd be facing criminal charges for obstruction. She sputtered and threatened to sue, but no lawyer would touch it. Her own HOA members were furious. They'd wasted thousands in HOA dues on that fence. At the next meeting, they voted Trudy out and elected a new president who actually came down to the farm and apologized. Now we get along fine. We wave at the neighbors, they wave back, and Grandpa still takes his pickup down Maple Hollow Road at a snail's pace, tipping his hat to anyone who dares to honk. Funny thing is, that old bulldozer is now parked right by the road. Bright yellow, freshly painted, and sitting there like a monument. A not-so-subtle reminder that when you mess with Grandpa's right-of-way, you'd better be ready for him to take the dozer for a spin.